Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Pain. Is there anybody in this world that doesn't suffer from pain? Just any pain. Could be physical, could be mental, could be both. What causes pain? Lots of things do. A lot of it is just the way you live. A lot of it is just what you take in as a person. Pain is something that we all gotta live with. Now, people tell you in life, okay, try to avoid things that don't cause pain. Well, to those people, I say, kiss my ass. Because eventually you're gonna have to face pain. It doesn't matter. Eventually, you're just gonna have to deal with it too. It's one of those things where physical, mental, it doesn't matter. You have to face it dead on. They've done studies at Harvard that people that have experienced a lot of pain and hold it in, their brain actually expands and it gets bigger, and they can tell by just looking at the human brain at there's certain areas where they can tell that the humans, which is us, and probably animals too. I've always said that the only difference between animals and humans is that humans use money, which is probably why they don't have to never face that pain. But that's a story for another time. But you can tell by looking at a brain physically, and you can tell compared to a normal brain, it's just not right. When someone endures a lot of pain, they have to embrace it for a very long time. And a person doesn't really want to face that pain. So a lot of times they'll just put it in a corner in their body and they'll just ignore it. But it gets to a point where it's just like a physical person that's just trying to get out of you and just trying to escape almost. Like you really want this pain to go away. But the pain will never go away unless you face it. It's like that saying, get the monkey off your back. Literally, you gotta just get it off your back. And they've done studies too where people will hold in secrets or lies or things they don't want to express to other people, and they just want to hold in and keep it to themselves. And it takes a toll on your body. And a lot of times it will cause back pain. That's where a lot of times doctors even admit the back is a total mystery. They have no idea what could cause that pain. But a lot of people say that it's people just holding things in and they don't want to express themselves. And it's very important for someone to face that pain dead on. Let's talk about physical pain for a minute. Now, obviously, if you're an athlete, you're eventually going to just wear out. I mean, they say in football, the average career lasts up to 5 years if you're lucky. You endure so much pain, just tackling guys and getting tackled and, dealing with not kneeling before the anthem. Again, that's another story for another time. But in all seriousness, you have to endure a lot of physical pain. And psychological pain too. Like even when you're on the field, you got people yelling at you, probably making fun of your mothers and, or fathers, or no matter how many parents you've had in the future or past or present, doesn't matter. You got to deal with that on a psychological level. And that creates a lot of pain too. And then on top of that, when that whistle blows, when the play starts, you're going to get hit. And you're going to get hit really hard. And what's the solution towards that? A lot of times, it's mostly medications. tons of medications. Now, I could list tons of medications that people take, painkillers, Oxycontins, but these aren't good for the body either, because one, you get addicted to it. Two, it only does so much for so long because you gotta just keep taking it. So what do? You endure it. There's nothing more you can do. Or you could think for yourself and just say, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wake up one day with a concussion and just, live my life. And one day I'm, in a wheelchair, just dribbling, out of my mouth. And I don't want to worry about this. I really don't. Neither does anybody. But at the same time, a lot of these athletes, they got wives, they got kids, they got second wives, they have mistresses that they got to take care of. And once again, yeah, that's pain. That's a lot of headaches you got to take care of. And yeah, a lot of it you got to hold in to yourself. And obviously you can't share this with anybody unless you're talking to a therapist. That's another way of dealing with pain. Not so much the physical part, but the mental part. And making yourself more clearer of things around you. And just wondering, how could I better my life? Who can I talk to and just basically just unload all my problems so I don't have to carry this all my life? And why should I endure all this? That's why it's very important just to talk to people about your pain. Not even just therapists, just friends in general. Just making sure that you're okay physically and mentally, and making sure that you don't want to die one day of a heart attack because you just had this pain in your body for years and years and years. And it's just important to express yourself whenever you can and make sure that your brain is okay with everything else. Like Morpheus said in The Matrix, the body can't live without the mind. And your body is your temple. Your body is the thing that carries you around. It's the thing that you have to take care of the most. And if you endure all this pain, like I said, whether it be physical or mental, it will take a toll on your body. Even a lot of times when you're in pain, you have to feel more pain in order to get rid of the original pain. Now, these people that bitch about needles, okay, guys, it's a quick little prick in the arm, don't bitch about it. There's way worse things in life. Going to war, dealing with cancer, being an American and knowing that Donald Trump is your president. There's way more things that are worse than a little brick. Always like when you go to the doctor too, and like for some reason like they may think that you're bothered by needles, and then they'll talk to you and they'll ask you a question, and they try to distract you. I remember my doctor once did that, and he, as he was talking, he just pricked me, and I'm like, dude, really? Like, I've dealt with worse, man. It's cool. I mean, you could, tell me, he just laughs away. I just laugh at him. But seriously, do you have a Band-Aid here? I'm losing a lot of blood, if you don't mind. Thanks. And they give you that nice little cotton ball, that makes everything better for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. So don't bitch about it. And again, if you got to take some pills and or go through some surgery, I get it. A lot of people have a major pain that they have to have surgery. I've heard studies where if you pray before surgery, patients have a 10% chance of getting better. Now, I don't know if that's a psychological thing to get through pain, I guess it is, but at the same time, doesn't hurt. 10%, why not? Now, according to good old Wikipedia, they say pain is a distressing feeling often caused by intense, damaging stimuli. Well, that's true. I mean, pain can pop up anytime. You could be walking the street and all of a sudden your knee starts acting up and you're like, my knee. Yeah, this is what my dad was talking about when he was older. And yeah, my knee, it's starting to hurt. And then you got to go home and put some ice on it or icy hot. And it just, it's not good. By the way, I was going to say this as a little side story. If you're ever in pain and if you use icy hot and for some reason your pain is in your inner thighs, women, I'm assuming you'd probably have the same problem like I did. One day I was, at the cottage. I was, drinking. And just before I go to bed, I had a little pain in my inner thigh. Was it from running around all day? Or was it, just trying to do jumping jacks when you're drunk? I don't know. But anyways, when you put the icy hot in your inner thigh, please make sure, boys and girls, make sure it doesn't touch the, how do I put this? The midsection, okay? Because nothing will wake you up faster or get you out of your drunken haze. I remember I did that, and it actually, rubbed on the testicles, and I had to jump in the shower like 5 minutes later, and I'm just, I got the nozzle like right on there for 20 minutes, and it's no fun. So ironically, one pain led to a far, 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 far worse pain. That's the problem with pain too. Is that there seems to be this like inner, constant circle. Like I said before. I mean, if you're in pain for something, you have to, for the most part, take something for it, and then that could cause maybe an allergic reaction, that even you don't even know about, and then you might have to take something for that pain, and then so on and so on and so on. So the best advice I can give to anybody out there is go see a doctor. Don't assume that you can fix everything yourself, because I don't know about you, but I'm no doctor. So I like to trust the guy with the was it the popsicle sticks. I don't know. They put in your tongue. And trust that guy. And just make sure. Listen, doc, I have this problem. I have this pain in my knee, or my heart hurts, or it stings when I pee. Just let the doctor know whatever is going on, and let him do the work. Okay? He knows what he's doing. He went to school for, I think doctors, got to go to school for what, 7 years regular, and then 3 years medical for the most part. So it's 10 years. They get a good salary. They get their model wives after. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. If the doctor's last name is Cosby, he does not know what he's doing. But other than that, trust the doctor. They know what they're doing. Let them cure your pain. What about pain of a broken heart? I mean, don't get me wrong. The heart can actually somehow break and explode, and from an actual heart attack of 20 burritos or something. But I mean, like actual mental pain. I mean, what if you've been going out with a woman for years, and then all of a sudden, you get that call or text or email or Snapchat or Twitter or Instagram, whatever the fuck kids are using these days. I don't know. Do people still send faxes? No? Okay. But yeah, I mean, you get that message, and it doesn't matter. I mean, the worst part is when you get a message like that, like during the day, or when you're working and you're flying high. It's a great day, and you check your phone, you're like, shit. Oh, I should have seen this coming. But then a lot of times you don't see it coming. And you're like, shit, like it just hits you. Like, boom. And you're like, fuck, like this hurts, man. Like this really hurts. I remember watching the movie 50-50 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen, and the part where he finds out he has cancer. The doctor just tells him, you have cancer. And all of a sudden, like, he just started hearing this ringing in his ear, and just everything went silent, and it's like just an atom bomb going off in your head, and you're just like, what the fuck? I mean, this is insane. Like, I didn't, I thought, okay, maybe I had the flu or something, or, it'll hit you hard, you know? And then ironically, you hear that emotionally, that causes the emotional pain. And, of course, all that physical pain comes after, if you want to receive treatment. And, it sucks. I mean, pain is something that can just drag on for years and years and years. And like even something like depression. I mean, depression can, just weigh on the brain so much. I heard somebody say something like this. I'm just paraphrasing here, but they said one time the best way to describe depression, is you wake up, and let's say if you got like, $50 million in the bank, you're married to a beautiful woman who you're crazy in love with, and, she treats you like a king, and you got great kids, and they're smart, and they're cool, and, they don't cause you any trouble. You live in a great neighborhood, a great house, and, you wake up and you can't get out of bed. And you can't explain it. You're just laying there. You're like, well, I got this great life. Like, why can't I just get out of bed? Depression is pain as well. I mean, it's something that's just born with people in the beginning. I mean, you might get depressed, something bad happens to you, like you lose your job or someone died, but, some people are just born with that painful gene, and, you just gotta live your life like nothing's happening. Even if you're feeling down during the day, someone might look at you and go, oh, like, why are you so sad? Or, and then people will talk behind your back maybe and go, oh my God, he's so depressed, and, this person just can't get out of his funk, and, like, why is he like this? And, and like a part of you will feel bad that you feel like this, because it's like you don't want to feel like this, but at the same time, it's like, you got no choice. It just kind of just comes with your body, it's embedded in you. So again, it's one of those things where you just have to talk to someone about it. A lot of pain, I really do believe, is emotional, and I think a lot of it will, come back as physical, but a lot of it, I'm not saying we bring it on ourselves, which a lot of times we do. I think a lot of times they say that, I've heard this too, that, the human race, I mean, the average human life is pretty normal. It's pretty basic, but like we create our own problems because we're just bored, so we create all this, pain and, all these stupid situations that we got to deal with just because, we just want to beat the boredom, which in many ways is nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's like a lot of it is just unnecessary. It's just bullshit stuff, and it's not really that necessary to deal with, so if you're going to do something, really constructive in your life, that will cause pain, just make it as positive as you can, like, let's say if you're like a comic or a comedian, which again are two completely different people, but again, I'll get into that later. If you go on stage, and maybe if you're afraid, which is another source of pain. I mean, just, having a phobia of anything, whether if it's afraid of spiders or, like Homer Simpson sock puppets, whatever. uh, you go on stage and, you're afraid, you feel some kind of physical pain and, you just start sweating and, like, but in the end, like, if you're really good at what you do, if you know you can really entertain that person or just group of people, it's a great feeling. But as long as you get over that hump of, that first reaction, then I truly believe you'll be okay. So a lot of the emotional pain, will pass, but it's something that we all have to deal with eventually. And eventually, you're going to get out of bed, even if you are feeling depressed or not. And, for some reason, you're going to slip over the same fucking carpet that you've had there ever since 1985. And you're going to trip over it and you're going to fall flat in your face, which is a beautiful way to wake up, by the way, which a couple times has happened to me. I'm not going to lie. And that's a pain that you could easily avoid. You could not be a cheap fuck and just, fix that carpet or get rid of that carpet, because no one has used shag carpeting since 1973. And yeah, that's something you could avoid too. But then I think to myself, like, there's a psychological thing. It's like maybe you want to wake up and feel pain, you know? Like a lot of people just want to carry that pain with them. Like Ronnie Dangerfield always had a great joke. He goes like, "Oh, I just wake up and the heaviness is there, and I just make it my friend." And I go, "Oh, hi heaviness, how are you?" "I'm okay. Yeah. You're gonna wake up today. You're gonna get, you'll be drinking early today. Like it's just something that you you just gotta face, and it sucks. But at the same time, like, again, you probably bring it on yourself, because maybe something happened to you in school or something, or you're with your parents, and you think to yourself, "Oh, okay, maybe on some level I deserve this, but I don't really deserve this." But then psychologically, it's like in your brain, and you can't fucking get it out of there, and you realize, yeah, it's just a carpet. Maybe I should have it moved so I don't keep tripping over it. And eventually you trip over an old tile or something. I mean, some pains are just unavoidable. I mean, like, what if you're in a car accident? I learned that young drivers, they say every uh, accident is preventable. I do believe that on some level, but I do truly believe that if I'm driving on a road and a big boulder comes out of nowhere, like Indiana Jones, I mean, maybe you can hear it. I'm European, so I'm gonna have my Geno Beats blasting. So I'm not gonna hear the shit coming. But when it comes, I'm gonna just stand there and go, well, you know, I didn't see it coming. I'm sorry. I was focused on DJ Tiesto or whatever, and I'm like, okay, all right, should have seen that coming. Maybe I should have had the window rolled down. Save some money on air conditioning. Just have both windows rolled. Get that cross breeze. Like when you got that old car, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, maybe I should have seen that coming. But a lot of it's not preventable. It's not. Even the slightest pain, even like the slightest physical pain, will just affect your nerves. Like you hit that sweet spot, on your elbow, like they call it the funny bone. But then ironically, there's nothing fucking funny about getting hit in the funny bone. It's got that weird kind of feeling where it just shoots up, and it sucks. And if you're a guy, again, I can't speak, what's going on with women, but if you're a guy and if you ever got kicked square in the nuts, it fucking kills, man. And like the worst part is, like, it's one of those like delayed reactions, like you don't feel, for some reason, like I don't know, maybe God is a woman, maybe she's like, okay, you know what, guys are definitely gonna hurt if they get kicked in the balls, but as a joke, they're not gonna feel it for 3 seconds. So if you get kicked in the balls and then you just start talking, you're like, "Oh, what'd you do? Oh, oh, oh." It just, it sucks. It's nothing worse than that delayed pain. And if you don't believe me, go on YouTube right now. Well, after you listen to this, of course. But afterwards, go on YouTube, click on the clip where Dennis Rodman kicked the cameraman. And it's funny because when he kicks the guy in the balls, he kicks the guy in the balls, and then 3 seconds later, or for 3 seconds, the cameraman's just like, hey man, what the fuck? Like he's frozen too after. You don't see it coming. It's coming, but you don't see it coming. You feel it coming. And everything else, like a tingling pain and an electrical pain. I almost experienced that once. I was in school one time, and I was never into math and science, so I was in science class, and I had a pair of pliers, and for some reason, I was extremely stupid that day. I was just playing around with the pliers. They got the plugs at each one of the desks there. Or the teacher showing us a whole bunch of stuff there. I just put the pliers in the outlet, because I am actually that stupid, and all these sparks start flying. Like, it's crazy. It's like when that dude in Commando just got shocked on the fence there. Great movie, by the way, check it out. But yeah, I was, and then like right after it happened, she just grabbed my wrist, and she like felt for some kind of form of life and brain in there. I mean, she's probably wondering, oh shit, like did some kid die in my shift? Or she's probably thinking, wow, this kid's really stupid. I'm just gonna have to pass him, so I don't have to face him the next year. So yeah, pain can happen at any time, whether if it's by accident or in my case by stupidity. Anything can happen at any time. And sometimes you expect pain just to happen. Now, again, I was just talking about my testicles there, about the delayed reaction. But I mean, you don't know when pain is going to happen, and then you think like pain is just always going to happen to you. You could just go outside and be afraid that a car is going to hit you, or something is going to affect your body, or you're going to breathe in pollution, or it sucks. I mean it would really just suck to live like that. It's not a good way to live. I mean, eventually you will get hurt, physically, mentally, it doesn't matter. But you can't like live your life like every day, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna go outside. Oh no, I'm not gonna go to this place again. Oh yeah, I got hit there one time with a baseball, and that actually happened to me too one time. Another great story. I love telling stories. But anyways, one time I was at a park. I was going by, and a baseball, it might have been a softball. And it's always funny when, like you're watching a baseball game, and, someone just yells out, "Heads up!" Now, I always remember the Seinfeld episode where, like, Kramer said, like, "Heads up," and, like, literally his head went up. Like, and then he told him later, look, you don't actually put your head up when someone says that. So I remembered that. So instead, I kind of, like, ducked down in a ball. And, of course, I ducked down in a ball, and my back is bent over. And, of course, the baseball hit me dead on my back. I think it was partly my fault because I was wearing my bullseye shirt. Hit here to hit asshole. But, again, some things are just not preventable. I mean, I guess it was if I looked up. But then if I looked up, it would have hit me in the head. So it could have been way worse. One time I played baseball, and the pitch went right in my head. I was wearing glasses at the time, ruined my glasses. If it was today, if I recorded that, I would have had a million hits on YouTube for sure. But hey, shit just happens. It is what it is. Pain is always gonna be there. Physical, mental. Baseballs, basketballs, hockey pucks, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be there. Way back in the day in ancient Greek times, they even believed that a lot of it was because of the neurons in your body. A lot of vital fluids, flowing in there, and a lot of it could just be genes, and a lot of it is just whatever's around you. Something that could, you know, bring you physical pain, and it'll just stick with you forever. I mean, I'm sure we all got that. Like, as kids, like something happened to us and, something triggers in our heads and we're like, oh shit, like this brings back, a lot of bad memories. This brings back, some painful shit, you know? And yeah, it sucks. It really, really sucks. But you know what? You know what? Fuck you, pain. Fuck you. Because you know what? Like I said, pain is always going to be there. It's not going to go away. You just got to keep going. One last story because I'm in story mood. So think of this situation. I'm coming home from work at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, I don't drive, so I'm doing a podcast that maybe 100 people listen to. So, and when you're living in Toronto, you're on the drunk bus at 3 a.m. on a Friday or Saturday night, whatever, right? And, the bus is packed, you're just hoping that someone didn't puke, so you don't have to smell that shit for 20 minutes, whatever. And, I'm in physical pain because I've been on my feet for 6 hours and I'm sweating balls. And I just want to go home and relax and, smoke a cigarette and just relax. So I'm sitting there with my buddy. Some asshole decides to light a cigarette on a packed bus. Now, it's pissing off all these people, including this older lady, maybe she was asthmatic, I don't know. But, still, you don't smoke on the bus. I mean, I smoke too, sometimes, but anyways, I'm like, you know what, dude, just put out the fucking cigarette. He's like, what? And this is like this little skinny little prick, and I'm like, dude, just put out the fucking cigarette. He starts talking shit. I might have said something about his mother. I don't know, who knows. The point is, I'm sitting down at the time, and this guy just literally just sucker punches me, and he sucker punches me right in the good old beautiful lips I have. I only have so many great features on my body. Please don't, destroy, everything. So at this point, I'm just exhausted. He punches me. I just turn red, like you might as well just take my sandwich away from me. I was really just pissed. So I got up, grabbed him, threw him against the bus. I'm just choking the shit out of him. It looks like that scene in Scent of a Woman, except I could clearly see that this guy was an asshole. Well, actually, Al Pacino could anyway. Hooah! Anyways. So, and my other buddy, he's got the, his little friend there. I got him. I'm just choking the shit out of him, I ripped his shirt, whatever, because I was just, pissed off, I was like, hey, take that, it's your cheap shirt. And then at one point I start choking him, because he's trying to punch, me, whatever, that's funny. And then I literally just start dragging him off the bus. Everyone's like, freaking out, like, whoa, my God, this is crazy, man, whatever. And, I just drag him basically off the bus. He's just at the edge there. He starts spitting at me. My lip is, as fat as my head, and I'm just, spitting back at him, not only because I'm Italian, because he's spitting at me. And, of course, every time I spit, it's just blood coming out, So, and then, those two fuckers, took off. And, yeah, that was a painful situation. Now, think about all the pain you had to deal with in this situation here. I'm in pain because I'm, fucking exhausted from my shift. Clearly, this gentleman's in pain because he's so desperate to have a smoke and have a night out from his step parents that he clearly has a problem. If you can't wait a couple minutes just to get off the bus and smoke. He sucker punched me, which I don't give a shit what anybody says is the biggest bitch move you can do. So clearly he wanted to cause me pain. I'm feeling physical pain. He's feeling physical pain because I'm choking this guy out like I'm Latrell Sprewell, and nothing good came of this situation. When those guys took off, we're at the bus, like we're the ones that had to talk to the cops. Of course they had to stop the bus at like Bay and Blue or whatever. And like even the one woman that was pissed off about the smoking, like she got off the bus, like as the cops are talking to us, like, she's like, these guys did nothing wrong. It was the other people. I was like, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And went home, put some ice on my good old fat lip. And, it was a little fucked up for the next couple of days, but I was all right. The thing that sucked the most is actually, and this is the most painful thing right now. At the time, Rob Ford was alive, and I got offered a job to do a commercial where all I had to do was wear a suit, and I had to wear like a box on my head, so nobody knew. I guess at the time I was heavier, and people, I was gonna do a whole Rob Ford going nuts, and it was something about like a furniture store, and they wanted. Like me to just go nuts with a box on my head, and just act like Rob Ford, I guess, whatever. I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that didn't want to do it, but but then there's a part of me that liked money. But then either way, like I couldn't do it. And actually, now I realize actually telling this story out loud, it wouldn't have made a difference anyway because I had a box on my head and they wouldn't have seen my face anyway. And wow, that took me about 6 years to realize this. Wow, and I'm recording on a podcast. Wow. Okay. So once again, between this and science class, the good old outlet there, I'm not coming across as a very smart person. But again, hence that's why it's called the Malaka podcast. Welcome, folks. But again, pain can come from every single angle, whether if it's physical, mental, losing out on a job, or baseballs, or just whatever. Pain will always be there, but if you're in real pain, just talk about it with someone professionally. Even if you can't afford that, just talk about it with friends, or just your girlfriend, your wife, your mistress, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just talk about it, because pain will ruin you. It really will. So it's not good to hold things in. And as you can see through all my histories of pain, I've talked about it. And worst case scenario, just do a podcast like me and just vent out all your pain.